Good afternoon. Am I audible? Once I was driving my hand controlled car. The petrol in my car became low suddenly. I saw the petrol bunk on my right hand side. Without realizing the policeman standing, I jumped the signal and was caught by him. This cop wanted me to go and meet his boss who was sitting in the jeep. When I tried to tell him I'm a physically challenged and I cannot walk, he started laughing loudly and said, then how come you are driving the car? Then I sat wondering who was disabled. Isn't disability in the mind? Should it be the limitation of the body? I'm sure you would have understood from what I tried to say. Disability is just a perception. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share how disability is a matter of perception. I would like to begin talking about this young man who 25 years ago found life very progressive. He had come from a small town, but halfway living his dreams of going to US. He had an engineering postgraduate degree from IIT Mumbai. Company had hired him to send him to US, which many consider as land of dreams. The documents were getting processed and he would board a plane in a couple of months' time. Now, as Napoleon Bonaparte says, there is no such thing as an accident. It is a fate misnamed. The destiny had its say. On a fateful day, in November 1994, this young man who had the dreams of going to US fell from height accidentally. The injury left him paralyzed from waist below and he broke his right hand in multiple places. Life had many surprises, few traumatizing, few challenging. 2 decades of riding this bumpy track hasn't limited this person from leading a limitless life. He still considers life as an ocean of opportunities and believes it is worth living. This is the same young man who is now addressing you. Nearly 3 months after the accident, while I was still recovering on the bed, the doctor came to my room and broke the news. Niranjan, you are not going to walk in your life. Starting tomorrow, you better get used to riding wheelchair and I want to be straight with you. This fall was not only from height, a fall from life. It was extremely difficult for me to accept my future life in wheelchair. The whole world turned topsy-turvy. I was taken to the operation theater almost 17 times and hundreds of injections were pushed to my body. There were several naysayers saying, how will you work? Who will give you a job? How will you manage yourself? So on. Unable to spend my days of hopelessness, I contemplated ending my life, but realized I wasn't fit enough even to end my life. It was then I came to the realization that when you hit rock bottom, the only way was to go up. You might think fate brutally snatched success from my hand when I fell from height and ended up in the wheelchair. But God always gives chance to grow. Such a chance came to me when I was asked to visit my company's headquarters in Netherlands to deliver a presentation on how we had achieved international certification in our company in Bangalore. Now, think of this. I not only go to one of the most developed countries in the world, but was sent by the company I work for. 25 years ago, I missed my flight. This time, I caught my flight. I'm not sure those guys in the headquarters would have viewed me with the same level of respect and awe. I was invited to deliver a presentation on how we had achieved international certification, which those guys in the headquarters couldn't do. I might be in wheelchair, and all those 25 men who I was addressing were foreigners wearing best suits with confident grins on their faces. But still, it was I took all their questions and told them how to achieve what we had done in our company in Bangalore. Friends, what mattered at that time was my ability, and I was respected for my ability. It was one of my proudest moments. In the words of Martina Navratilova, disability is a matter of perception. If you can do just one thing well, you are needed by someone. After harrowing stay of 2 years in the hospital, I took up a job in corporate. Initially, managing my life in wheelchair was tremendously challenging. Especially traveling in an auto was highly uncomfortable. Many times, auto drivers refused to let me inside once they realized I needed an external assistance to get inside the auto. Some of the buildings I worked had no ramps, special toilets for physically challenged. Despite all these challenges, within next 2 years, I became a quality head for the group of 8 to 10 people. Not only that, I also played a key role in helping my organization to get most coveted quality certification called CMMI. The recognition I received was the Extraordinary Contributor Award. This experience made me to realize physical disability is not a barrier to take up any higher responsibilities. This experience strengthened my belief that disability is a matter of perception. I wish to recall a heart-wrenching incident when my loving wife wanted to have a separate life after living with me for 6 years. When my other half was going out of my life, I was put on a severe test to drop her to the railway station. She asked me if I could drop her to the railway station as she had a lot of luggage to carry. I could have refused her request, but for the love I had for her, despite she had taken decision to leave me and my 2.5-year-old adopted son. My other confident, practical half made me to take up the challenge to raise my son. If my former wife had denied a chance to be a husband, I still had a chance to be a father, good and inspiring father at that. I seized the opportunity with both my hands. Nearly 18 years later, I do not regret the decision. I enjoyed being father and proud the way I have raised my son. This is the picture of my son. This is the picture of my son. When he came to my house, he was just 9 months. Now he is 20 years old. After working for 12 years in the corporate, due to the lack of understanding of the management about my disability, I had to resign my job in the organization I worked last. Hence, I became self-employed instead of working at the mercy of others. Organizations have to empower more people with disabilities instead of disempowering them. Many times, for my training assignments, I have to travel other cities in India. Majority of hotels in India are not wheelchair friendly, especially toilets and bathrooms. Governments have to do something to enable more people with disabilities come to the mainstream of life by ensuring adequate facilities are created in these places. Since last 1 year, my focus has changed to make difference in the lives of people. Hence, I started giving motivational talks in various places, programs through televisions and radios. This work gives me great sense of fulfillment as God has given me chance to make difference in people's life by sitting in the wheelchair. I have never considered my disability as a major problem throughout my life. I have other problems. I also consider disability as one such problem. Moment people perceive disability through their eyes differently, the meaning of disability changes. If you look at my life journey since I fell down, it is of ups and downs. There was sudden dip due to my accidental fall, and once I recovered from the hospital and took up a job in corporate, there was a quick rise. And again, there was a dip due to my personal setback and resigning from the job. And once I became independent, and again it started rising as I founded my firm, authored a book, covered in various medias, now a reborn coach and a motivational speaker. If you look at the entire life journey, it is a roller coaster ride. All I have done throughout my life is learning how to enjoy this ride. My life has been transformed from life of no hope once upon a time when I fell down to life of giving hope to many today. All this has been possible because I chose to be unstoppable, fighting against all odds and perceptions of disability by others. Presenting my personal story is to create an awareness about the potential of disabled people and how disability is a matter of perception. There are far more cases of people achieving great things despite being disabled. But the majority of people with disabilities marginalized in the society are much more compared to very few who have achieved in their field. Now, let's look at how technology can make difference in the lives of disabled people. Technology has revolutionized our lives in many ways. I can drive my adaptable car. We can see a paralyzed person walking with a device like robotic exoskeleton. One can climb stairs with the help of stair-climbing wheelchair. Smartwatch for blinds, where blind can get to know what's happening around the world with the help of braille language embedded in it. How nice if these technologies are available to everyone in the world. I appeal people to invest time and money to make this kind of gadgets and equipments affordable and available for Indians. The technology has been able to give a gift of ability and freedom. From various types of wheelchairs to communication aids to as simple as automatic door, innovations are making difference. But the fact that majority of people with disabilities cannot get inside the doors of many buildings makes us to think much more needs to be done. There are 1.3 billion people in the world having some form of disability. In India alone, 70 million people with disabilities. Around the world, people with disabilities not only face physical barrier, but also social, economic, and attitudinal barriers. They are not only disabled by their bodies, but disabled by the society as well. In order to remove these barriers, we need to change the way we think and talk about people with disabilities. The one survey report says that only 5 to 10% people with disabilities are employed in India. Hence, we need to close the employment gap, create awareness to the business people that being accessible has social and economic sense. Builders, decision takers, NGOs, corporates, governments should all come together to make accessibility as a human right. When we all work together, we can realize the real change. Let's take ramps for that matter, they are not just only for wheelchair users, they are for people who push strollers and for elderly who find stairs as a challenge. More importantly, I urge every able bodied person to challenge the way people with disabilities are perceived. Do you look at person in the wheelchair differently? Do you think someone who has visibility issues is less competent in the job? Do you focus on physical differences instead of the person inside? It is time for us to reflect our actions and beliefs. We need to learn to perceive people with disabilities differently. Families, neighbors should show empathy and love for these people with disabilities. We need empathy, not sympathy. The day should come where a disabled person shall be treated like a normal person in the society. This can happen in terms of a disabled person having access-free environment and move in public places with dignity. This is how we all can make our nation of inclusion and equal opportunities. Thank you very much.